Thank you for appearing on the Nancy Stevens Show, talking to anyone who is anyone in the arts and entertainment world. And I'm absolutely, literally over the moon and beyond honoured to talk to the young man who inspired the West End musical and now a major movie, starred the documentary Jamie, Drag Queen at 16, Jamie Campbell. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Nancy. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think I might actually combust.
Don't be silly. Oh,
So-
you know, yes.
Well, so do you. You're rocking a granny chic. I love the whole Chanel. It's just stunning. I'm feeling very underdressed, actually.
You don't. You look fabulous.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about how we kind of got together, or how we kind of met each other in the first place, so to speak. It's through our love of Snag Tights. We're both snagglers, aren't we?
We are, yes. Representing Snag Tights.
Absolutely. Love a Snag Tight. So an amazing brand, and you've been doing some fantastic collaborations with them. Let's just talk a little bit about Snag, then we'll talk about drag, okay? So how did it all come about? And, tights, obviously, drag queen, the two kind of go quite well together. But how did the collaboration occur?
So I was asked to come and help judge the Snag Queens competition, which was a competition where they were looking for the face of Snag Tights. So yeah, I just helped judge that really, and I was asked to design a range of tights for them. So that was really exciting because I really want to be a designer, and this is sort of my first proper design job. So yeah, I'm excited to get doing it.
Thing is, you have a phenomenal talent. I mean, you're obviously a born creative, and obviously right from when you were a little boy, when you were dressing up in your mum's clothes, and the documentary, was just incredibly moving. I watched it again last week, and it made me cry again. But there was always that love of fashion and clothes, and the whole kind of tactile experience of design. So I guess this is the next natural phase for you, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. Like, I've always loved clothes. And like you say, I was always dressing up in my mum's stuff, like tying up her silk dressing gowns and parading around like they were big ball gowns. But yeah, like I've always sort of made clothes and designed clothes with doing drag. I make a lot of looks, but yeah, this is the first time it's been like a proper job where things are going to get commissioned and made and sold, and hopefully real people are going to buy and wear them. And every kind of person, like all the way from size 4 all the way to 36. So it's so important that it's such an inclusive company, and that's why I'm so happy to work with them.
It is an incredible brand. It really is. And as you say, it's all about inclusivity and diversity as well. And the fit is phenomenal. I mean, as someone who's been wearing tights for more years than I care to remember, the fit is just ridiculous. And the colour intensity, I mean, I don't even know if this does it justice, but the colour intensity is, and there's all the colours sort of under the rainbow. I mean, for you working with such a premium brand, it's just me so easy, really.
Yeah. And I mean, Mum was a snaggler before this. So when I got the call to be like, oh, do you want to come do this? Mum was like, oh my God, yes, you have to do it. They're amazing. They fit so well. So yeah, it's exciting that Mum and Grandma are going to be able to wear the tights that I've designed as well.
That is so exciting. And again, it's just keeping the creativity going on sort of right through. So are you allowed to tell us about a little bit of the designs, or is it still top secret?
Well, I think they are quite top secret, but there are a few so they're all quite different. There's some that are a bit more out there than others.
Really? You surprised me.
Yes, yeah. So I was actually really nervous going into the design meeting because, like I said, it was the first design job I've ever done. I didn't think Bree, who is the CEO of Snag, was going to like any of them. And then she actually turned around and was like, oh my God, I love them all. So instead of just doing one collection, we're doing 3 collections that's going to be broken up over the year. So this first set that's coming out is probably the more simpler versions of the designs that I've done. But I wanted them to be really wearable. I didn't want to do something that was too out there that people weren't going to be confident wearing them. Absolutely.
It's super exciting. So let's go back to the beginning, because obviously this is where it all started. So this little boy who knew he was different right from a very, very young age, dressing up in mum's clothing. an extraordinary story. It really is. There's no story quite like it. I mean, you were very brave to go to the production company and pitch your story. You know, how on earth did you have such big kahunas to do that?
Well, I don't think it was really bravery. I think it was more the opposite, actually. I was just really scared. And that was the whole idea of getting the film crew there, was if I had the film crew, the idea was nobody would want to beat me up on camera. So was the idea behind contacting the film crew. But yeah, like looking back now, I'm like, it does seem like so random that I did it. Like I can't believe I did that at such a young age, but honestly, it was the best decision I ever did.
Well, I mean, it's changed your life forever. I mean, it's put you on a path that I guess 16-year-old Jamie could never have ever foreseen, though.
No, I keep thinking that. Like, if I could go back and tell my 16-year-old self what was about to happen, I wouldn't believe it. I'd just be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna laugh. You don't know what I'm talking about.
It's such an inspirational story, and it's all about, you know, body image and being different and just being positive about putting yourself out there. And you've been such an inspiration to so many young people, you know, whatever sort of walk of life. And how does that make you feel that people look to you as being a role model?
It's the best feeling ever, and honestly it's the best part about this whole experience. Like, I've got to meet and speak to so many amazing people who tell me that my story has helped them, and I just can't believe it, but I'm just so thankful that people take from it. Like, personally, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, I was just going to prom dressed the way I wanted to be dressed. But I guess that's sort of what people get from it. And I'm just glad that people can feel confident in themselves and express themselves in whatever way they want to. Like, it's not just boys wanting to wear dresses and do drag. It's anything. Like, I think what people get from it is it's like a metaphor, really. The dress could be anything. Like, everybody's got their own dreams and hopes and things they want to accomplish, and it's just about having the bravery to go and do it and not worry about what other people say.
Absolutely. And your relationship with your mum, I mean, so inspirational. Your mum is just incredible. She's the ultimate matriarch, but in a good way, not stagey or pushy or anything. There's somebody I'd like you to meet now. My boy, my boy. This is my boy Benjy.
Hello.
Hi, Benjy.
So nice to meet you, honestly.
Oh, I love your hair.
Thank you so much. I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is my boy, and the relationship that you have with your mum is the relationship that Benjy and I have together.
Yeah, I really felt that as well. I had a bit of a different perspective because I saw the musical before I saw the documentary. So obviously the connection I had with the character of your mum, I really felt related to with mine. So I got really emotional from that, because obviously, like you said, what you did was kind of a metaphor for anyone wanting to be different or do something. And I kind of felt a similar thing when I wanted to be a dancer. And my mum's always been there for me. She supported absolutely everything. And I think when I first saw that, it really, really hit home. And I watched the documentary recently, and it was even nicer to see the actual raw story compared to the written out one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Honestly.
And that's what I love about the musical, how it focuses so heavily on that relationship, because that is so important. I know the people who made it didn't want it to just be about drag. So really, in the story, drag sort of takes the back seat, and the main story is the relationship between Jamie and his mum. And there, like you say, like, so many people connect to that relationship, which is amazing that so many people do have amazing relationships with their mums. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't, and that's the sad thing. Like what mum says, she's like, I don't think I'm doing anything that special either. Like, I'm just doing what you should do, like support your kids and stuff. And it's weird that that's such a not done thing for a lot of people. So it's amazing to see that you two have got such a good relationship as well.
No, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think also it's, you know, for Benjy, you know, as a boy wanting to be a dancer, feeling so isolated and not being able to talk about it at school, the way you felt about the way you wanted to you know, wear drag and everything, you know, you couldn't talk about it for a long time, and nobody knew that you were a dancer. It was like this guilty secret, which in this day and age seems ridiculous, doesn't it?
I mean, because I was a dancer as well, a disco dancer, and
amazing.
Get a secret from school as well. So I would be fake tanning for competitions on a Sunday, like trying to scrub it off on Monday. People would be clocking me like, "Oh, you're looking a bit darker than normal." Oh, I've just been on holiday. Probable that, like, boys
isn't it?
A secret, and I find most male dancers like have that same story, and it's so
100%.
Like,
I kind of noticed when I came out of school, it's a completely different world. You realise that obviously there's always going to be people like that, but it's less concentrated. Like school is very, it's like you've got your little communities of people, and it's very judgmental between kids because kids are nasty. Like as people get older, they're a bit more understanding and open-minded. And I kind of, watching your story made me kind of, I don't regret anything, but I do wish that I was a lot more proud of what I did and didn't care what people think. But I think at the point as I was in that time of my life, it was easier said than done. But I kind of realised that now, that if I could go back, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't care, and I don't anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. Like you've just got to like I always say that as well, and like when I'm speaking to kids and stuff, they're always like, "Have you got any advice?" And I try to say that, like, try not to care. But I mean, like you say, when you are going through it, it's easier said than done. But yeah, I just try and remind the kids that it's not forever. Like once you get out, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, you've got a lot more other things to worry about when you get out of school, but you don't need to worry about like hiding who you are as much. So just hold on. Like anyone who's watching this, if you've got in school and you're struggling, just keep on, just keep going. It's not forever.
Yeah, and one of my other questions, and I'm sure probably is a question you wanted to answer, you know, when I watched the documentary again, I watched it recently again, it's like you were an incredible dancer. And I was thinking, he can't be naturally that talented. You know, your spotting was phenomenal, and your chaînés. I'm thinking, I'm glad you said that you were actually a dancer, because I'm thinking nobody deserves to be this damn talented without any training.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I didn't do like ballet and tap and all of that. It was like freestyle disco. So it was like the rhinestone costumes and the lycra and the high kicks and the spins and the do. Like, but
full out everything. Yeah.
Literally 60 seconds on the floor, bam, and come on.
And obviously drag, you know, your alter ego is Fifi. How important is that now? Because I know obviously at the time when you were 16, that was your defining moment, but how important is that to you now?
Well, Fifi will always be a part of who I am. But back then, Fifi was my armour. So she was like my protection. And then I developed a lot as Fifi in my like later teens, early 20s. But then, I did sort of get a little bit lost in that character almost, because, I mean, drag is an expression and it's who you are, but at the same time, it is all fake as well. So I did sort of, get a bit lost in that, because you're getting all of this attention and you just sort of put everything on, oh, that's all Fifi LaTrue. And I sort of lost who I was as Jamie underneath. So in recent years, I've really begun to realise that Jamie is the person underneath Fifi, and everything that Fifi is, Jamie is, and more. So that's sort of where I am at the moment. I mean, Fifi will always be there, and she's going to be coming back in her own ways. But I'm just focusing on Jamie doing this kind of thing at the moment.
I think that's really amazing to see as well. I think a lot of people sometimes do get lost in what they were kind of known for. And it's great that I noticed how mature you were for your age as well. And obviously, you kind of have to go through these kind of experiences of bullying or illness or anything that makes you reflect on yourself enough. But it's so great to see that a lot of people who get popular so quickly from something, they usually get a bit clouded and they don't understand themselves as much, and they might get lost in it. But I think it's so great to see that you're really understanding yourself and being true to yourself and doing exactly what you want to do. And I love the outfit, by the way. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Another question I obviously wanted to talk about, Jamie, and the impact that when it was first workshopped in Sheffield back all those years ago, when Dan Gillespie Sells, the music and everything was being put together, the story, and it's such a true, it's pretty true to your life, isn't it? I mean, when they said that this was actually going to the West End, how was that for you? Because for a young boy, that must have been a little bit of a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah, it really was. But I think the mind-blowing experience came from Sheffield, actually, because we just didn't know what to expect going into it. Like, I decided they'd sent the script, and we chose not to read past the first page because I just wanted to keep it as a surprise. And it was that moment. Yeah, I'll never forget it, just in Sheffield, just going through it all for the first time. And it was just so weird. Like, just the stuff that we'd done in like the kitchen and stuff like that, and the walking on the wall and all of that, and just reliving those experiences again, but through the lens of somebody else, but sharing it in like a theatre of 700 people who were like along for the ride as well. Like the energy that was just flowing, everybody watching it, like we were all going through it together. We were laughing, we were crying, and as soon as it finished, we were like up on our feet and roaring to where the roof actually blew off. Like it was so loud. But like from seeing that in Sheffield, like I knew it was special, and I sort of knew it would go to the West End. So like, I mean, when they said it was going to the West End, it was amazing and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily a surprise. It was more, the main surprise came from Sheffield. Yeah.
Oh, and we've been so moved by it. I mean, it's such an extraordinary musical, and like no other, because it's your life. This is it's so true, and I think that makes it so much more poignant and also relatable. And I've been lucky. I've seen John McCree and I've seen Leighton Williams play you, and obviously very different portrayals as well. It's that weird seeing someone being you on stage.
Yeah, it is still weird, but like they are being me, but it's not a direct retelling. So it is heavily inspired by, but they do have their own things that they put in it, and each Jamie is different, and that's kind of what I love. It keeps it fresh. Like each one's got their own twist, and I don't know if you've seen Noah, who's the new Jamie in the West End.
Not yet, but that's next on my list. Once the theatres open, God willing, yes, definitely that's next.
That's at the moment, if it holds on. But no, he's amazing as well. So like he brings it back like really vulnerable, and yeah, he's really good. And yeah, I just love that, like, it's like a role that a lot of young, well, not necessarily just gays, but like young gay or young male performers can aspire to play. And like, that's weird that like a lot of people who have trained their whole lives to get to a point of being able to perform on the West End stage, like the highlight of their career at the moment is playing me. So special.
But that's really surreal as well to think about, and it's inspired so many people as well. Even at my college, when I did it was my last year of my
at
Arts 1. It was a level 3 BTEC when I was doing my performing arts course, and for our end of year show, we put on and You Don't Even Know It, and we were all wearing the school ties and everything, and we had like the scripts, and I had to work on the accent and all this. It was so interesting to see, and even now, just watching the documentary and talking to you, it means even more. And it feels like more of an honour to be able to say that I've performed that, do you know what I mean, in that sort of
capacity,
yeah.
Oh, thank you. And that's what I love. You'll have to send me the videos so I can see.
Of course, yeah.
See it. But yeah, that's what I love most. Like, people are all like, oh, do you really want it to go to Broadway and stuff like that? And I mean, obviously that would be amazing. But what I'm most excited about is the school performances. all over. Like, so instead of like doing Cats or Grease or something, those can be putting on Jamie, and that's what's really exciting to me. Like, I've been sent videos from around the world. Like, there's like drama schools in France that have like changed all the lyrics into French. It's so mind blowing, but so special.
It's really good for our generation as well, because I've grown up with musicals, and my favourite musical for a long time was Singing in the Rain, mainly for the Gene Kelly and nostalgia element of it, and I love that kind of style. But don't really see many musicals set with 16-year-olds in school when it's kind of more modernised in a way. So when I first saw it, it works so well, but it was very interesting to see, because you don't really see that in musical theatre so much.
Yeah, it's really I think the contemporary setting makes it so much more relatable.
100%, yeah.
And like with the music, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to make it more of a pop album, so that's why Leslie Sells was brought on. And Johnny Butterworth, the director, he said to Dan, "Oh, I want you to write a pop album." And he said to Tom McRae, the writer, that he wanted him to write a film script. And then they sort of combined it, so it wasn't made in like the usual musical theatre format. And I don't know if that's what makes it a bit fresh. I mean, I do love old school musical theatre as well, but it's nice to have a bit of modernity. Modernity.
Is it modernity? Is it modernity? I'm not sure. Is that
modern something? Tea.
We know what you mean. And obviously now that the news is coming out that, we all know that the film is imminent. Again, you know, mind-blown experience, you know. Totally. I mean, you know, a major motion picture with a fantastic A-list cast. I mean, wow, the boy's done good. A 16-year-old boy from Sheffield has got a movie about him. I mean, that's on another level, stratospherically speaking, isn't it?
Oh, who'd have thought? Like, literally, like, we were sat here watching the trailer and we were just like, oh my God. And like, the views were going up to like millions and millions and millions. And we were just like, this is mad. And we're just sat here in the living room, like having a cup of coffee and dressing gowns and stuff, and like the world are like watching it and commenting, and I can't wait for you all to see it. Like, I haven't seen it all in full yet, but I've seen like bits of it, and everything that I've seen is next level. Like, it's the musical and like times like 10,000. You go into so much more depth with things because there's so much more that you can tell on screen. And the cast is just absolutely phenomenal. And Max Harwood, who's playing me, he's brilliant, and he's just fresh out of drama school as well. So I love that, like, it was somebody who wasn't like a name or anything, so he would have that moment to shine, and he did so well. Like, I don't know how he managed to cope. Like, imagine just stepping foot out of drama school and like having this like £20 million film like all on your shoulders, basically. But he did so well. Like, I remember it was one of the first days shooting, and it was a me scene, and he was done up in drag, and he was petrified, and he was like, oh my God, how did you feel doing this? And I was like, I was shitting myself. And he was like, well, that's how I feel, you're doing it right. But then by the end, he just grew and grew and grew in confidence, and you'll see on screen, he's great.
So exciting. And obviously we need to talk about your mum and the relationship that you have with your mum, because without your mum, none of this would have been possible. You know, your mum has been such an enabler, such a giving person, an extraordinary person. You know, as we said at the beginning, you know, you expect that that's what all mums do, but they don't. And, you know, the relationship that we have.
Very grateful for it. And I've noticed in a lot of other families as well, it's not always there as much.
And I think the mother and son relationship is so important, especially like, your dad hasn't been around so much, and obviously you know the same situation with you. And I think that makes things even more sort of intense, and we're closer. I think you need each other more. And I don't know how
it's a best friend bond. Like, the way we talk isn't so much like a formal parent chat. Like I can talk to you about anything. It's not like we have to sit down and I have to beat around the bush and watch what I say when I talk to you. It's like I'll literally, I remember when you came up to see me when in Leicester, me and Mum just sat in the garden, the sun was out, and we just talked all day, like about stuff not a lot of like mothers and sons would.
But to be fair to him, he's very deep. For 20, he's really got his shit together. And I think, have I spawned a child like this? You know, but I'd like to think that there's been some sort of element of rubbing off on you.
Comes from you.
Yeah, you've definitely a good job. He seems like an amazing boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly the same. Like we literally talk about everything, and sometimes people are like, "Good, you talk about that kind of stuff with your mum." I'm like, well, yeah, why not? Like, you know,
yeah. And also, if you'd come home and said that you were gay or you wanted to dress and drag, I would have absolutely not batted an eyelid. It was just, you know, and you felt that as I say, there was nothing you couldn't talk to me about. And I'd like to think that as a parent, I've improved on my mother's generation, and then you will be a better parent than I've been, and so on and so on. And if we can keep, you know, changing, evolving. That's the word. Yeah.
But you've taught me to be accepting of others as well. Like even when I was younger, I used to dress up in your clothes and stuff. But even with that, you never made me feel ashamed from it. It's you don't have to put a label on anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just you can do whatever you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think I wanted him to be a girl, if I'm honest. I remember when I had my scan, when he was my 20-week scan, he was in my tummy. And I already have a son who's 23, and then they said it's a boy. I was like, it can't possibly be a boy. It's not a boy. Bloody hell, it's not a boy. I wanted a girl.
Oh, well, at least it's amazing. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. You know? I remember putting mascara on him because when he was about 4, thinking these eyelashes are to die for. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear. No. And have you got any questions? Yeah, you've got some questions.
If you had the opportunity to perform with anyone, dead or alive, you could perform next to them with your own show, who would it be?
Right. Okay. So it's going to be it's going to be 3. We're going to have a special show with me, Madonna, Gaga, and Kylie. So we're just going to smash it. We'll do like Lady Marmalade or something like that. Like.
Amazing.
And I think, and it's interesting you say that you've chosen them because they are all past mistresses of transformation, and why they've been so successful is that they you never know what to expect. Their image has been constantly evolving throughout their careers, and that's why Madonna is still Madonna, and why Kylie is still a pop princess at 50 and looking amazing, and Gaga's musical talent is incredible. So I think that's seems to be the secret these days, is longevity and just being different. And for you as a performer as well, you can't just be a dancer. You have to be a dancer, singer, actor, and then even a musician now.
And do flips and all of this. Yeah.
And in heels, if you're doing Jamie,
I'll get practicing. Yeah.
It's have you got any other questions that you want to ask?
What do you personally think makes a good performer into a great performer?
Confidence, maybe. You got to give it. You can't be a shrinking violet. You just got to give it all and give it everything and be unapologetic.
Yeah, life's too short as well. You got to make the most of everything and put your fullest into absolutely everything, because you don't want to regret it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I also think now, because of the difficult situation that we all find ourselves living in, and the arts has taken a hit, in my opinion, more than any other industry. And I actually get really quite riled at the fact that I don't think the arts has had enough funding or has been subsidised enough. It just seems it's like a forgotten industry. And we think about how much money the arts brings into this country, that revenue just from something like Panto. I mean, more people go and see Panto than they go to football matches. And for some people, that's their only experience of theatre. How do you feel, and how have you coped with the fact that you've not been able to go and do your thing?
It's awful. It really is. And it's just it's the not knowing as well, like how long it's going to go for. And so many people have been affected in it. It's not just the people on stage, it's everyone. It's the ushers, it's the bar staff, it's the door staff, it's the cleaners, it's absolutely everybody involved. It's the people doing marketing, it's not just people on stage. And I think that's what people forget. And yeah, it's like, what can we do? Like, and then even when theatres do open, we're having to social distance. And like, I know NIMAX theatres where Jamie is, like, they're going to be running at a loss. But they're doing it like they're still going to go on so they can hold on to people's jobs, and it's just awful, really. And I just don't know how long it can go on for. And like, what do we do if we lose art? Nothing left, really. Like we need art. And
well, I think it would be a massive shock to the people in power if, for example, we had like a complete blackout of Netflix music. Even music in general, like people who might not be invested in the arts or understand it, everyone has got to appreciate on some level music. And I don't think anyone could have like a nice, rich life that they can really see depth into without music or art in any way.
I completely agree. I think if there was some sort of embargo on the things that we just take for granted, like turning the radio on or saying watching a box set, I think maybe the powers that be, if they didn't have that, they might actually start doing something about it. But I think a lot of people think, well, it's just about the theatre, for a lot of people, the theatre prices are not affordable, which is why it's going to be great that there's a movie so everybody can see it. But I mean, it's, as you say, it's the behind the scenes people, the techs, all those people, and most people in the theatre and the arts are freelancers. I mean, that's so hard. So I think it's a tough time. We really need to be supporting each other more than ever, though, don't we?
Yeah, completely. And it just spans everywhere, like not even just the theatre industry, but like just the arts in general. Like you can't even pick up like a product without like graphics and stuff being involved. It's just, I don't know. It's annoying, but I mean, we're in this horrible situation, but I don't know. I think we just need to get out, and like it's not going away soon. Like I guess if we get this vaccine, there might be something, but going to have to live with it. So I think people just need to learn to live with it, really. Like safe, mask up, wash hands, and then get things open and moving again, because the longer this goes on for, like, the worse off we're going to be. I mean, we're going to be paying this off for the rest of our lifetime, probably. And we just need to get going on it and get art back.
Honestly, it's been so lovely talking to you. And just to kind of recap, what does the future hold for you? Because obviously, we cannot get enough of Jamie. Everybody's still going to be talking about Jamie for many years to come. And I don't think you'll probably ever realise the impact of what that you've had on people's lives, and just sometimes the smallest of ways. But I know design is important to you, and that's the way forward for you. But are you able to tell us a little bit more about what the future holds for Jamie?
Well, like my design collaboration with Snag Tights, and I'm actually launching my own fashion brand as well on Monday. So that's something that I've been working on for a while. That's going to be out. And then just, with me, it's lots of things. It's not just one thing. Like I have my finger in lots of different pies. I'm excited to get back out doing charity work as well. I work with the Diana Award, Anti-Bullying Pro, which is an amazing charity that goes into schools and sort of like shows representations of people who are different and give talks and stuff. So I want to do that in person because Anti-Bullying Week is always amazing. And this year we have to film it virtually. So I just want to get back out there and see people again. But and to be fair, I don't really know what's going to happen. Like I'm just along for the ride and just seeing what comes my way. Opportunity I can.
As you say, your charity work and your diversity role models, providing workshops, as you say, to tackle bullying, which is still still endemic, unfortunately, and in many ways. And obviously you experienced that at school, and you did as well. It's wonderful that someone like you can be an ambassador, and and your designs are going to be so successful. I mean, with your name attached to it, I think it's just you're just going to want to be one of these people who just goes from strength to strength. And yeah, you are. You're just this beacon of light and hope for so many people. And I don't think you realise in so many different ways that, in a myriad of ways, that you've impacted on people's lives, you know, and the ramifications of what you've done will last for generations, I think, because you set the bar really high, and you've made it okay for other boys to say, or other people to say, actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my head above the parapet. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be different. And actually, it's bloody well okay, because actually I'm amazing.
Oh, thank you. And that's all I want from it. I just want people to feel empowered. So thank you for that. It means a lot.
Oh, Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, honestly, I know for both of us, a massive, massive honour. It really, really has. I'm just seeing if there's anything else, you know, to sort of talk about. But, you know, I think we've sort of captured everything. How do we find you on social media?
It's at Jamie and Fifi on Instagram and Twitter.
And we can find you on Snag Tights as well, can't we? Snag Tights Instagram.
Yeah, on Snag Tights Instagram and snagtights.com/Jamie. I think is the URL.
Yeah.
Lines anyway. Google Jamie.
Fantastic. Let's say, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to obviously talk to your amazing mother and talk about what an incredible influence she's been on your life, and your amazing grandmother, who has been an incredible influence as well. These 3 generations of Campbell. I mean, what an incredible honour. I mean, you know, it's just it's. I feel like this is some major coup I've achieved here. So.
Oh, well, they can't wait to speak to you too.
So thank you so much. So thank you for appearing on the Nancy Stevens Show, talking to anyone in the arts and entertainment world. Jamie Campbell is the inspiration for everybody who's talking about Jamie. He's a Snag Tight designer. He's got incredible designs coming out. We cannot wait to see him, and I cannot wait to just watch you just set the world alight, you know, even more than you already have. So thank you for talking to me, Jamie.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jamie. Bye. Bye. Thank you for appearing on the Nancy Stevens Show, talking to anyone in the arts and entertainment world. And I'm so thrilled and honoured to be talking to the mother of the incredible person that everybody's talking about, Jamie, Margaret Campbell. Thank you so much for being on my show.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Margaret, you're such an inspiration. I mean, you starred in the documentary Jamie Drag Queen at 16, and you are the real-life inspiration behind Margaret and You in the stage and film version of the same story. That's such an incredible legacy, but, I mean, how does that make you feel? I need to introduce you to my boy.
Nice to meet you, Margaret.
This is my boy Benjy, and we have the same relationship that you and Jamie have as well. Amazingly close relationship. But yeah, you are such an incredible mother, just an inspiration to mothers all over the world. And I know Jamie said earlier the fact that you just assume that all mums are like us, but they're not. How did this all come about? Because obviously, he was always different, but you encouraged his difference, didn't you?
Yeah, because I think I've always thought of, I don't like sheep. You look in a field and you see a field full of white sheep. Mm. You kind of look for the black one. And to me, he was my little black sheep. He was different and people noticed him. And I embraced that because he was lovely and he did stand out. And, why not love him for that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a lovely analogy, isn't it? I mean, Benjy was kind of my black sheep as well, probably in a different way. I mean, total pain in the arse, I must say. Really, really difficult child, and to be honest with you,
I was.
If he'd been my firstborn, he would have been my only child. But again, Benjy was always different. He used to dress up in my clothes and always was very sort of artistic and creative. And I encouraged that. But I know that that's, for you as a mum, you've always stood by Jamie. But I think we're in the minority. I mean, how was that for you? Because obviously things weren't as relaxed and people weren't as accepting as they are now. How was that for you as a mum? The school gates and all that sort of thing.
It was difficult at times, but I never ever let Jamie see that his difference was a problem, because it wasn't for me. I mean, we talk about normal, but Jamie's my normal, so I don't know any difference. It was other people that had the issues, and I think You know, I mean, one thing springs to mind that I had an issue with. He was being particularly bullied by a boy at school, and the child wore glasses, and it went on and on and on, and he was getting quite upset about it. So I actually went and saw the child in school and asked him to stop doing it, but he never. You know, it wasn't anything major. It was just, you know, it's been a bit naughty, being, you know, bullying him. So it carried on. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to approach the mum. But obviously none of this Jamie ever knew about, because I didn't want him to get upset by that, because his, like I say, what he was doing was his normal, and, you know, it wasn't an issue for me. So I went and saw his mum and said, you know, your boy's sort of bullying mine and it's not acceptable. And she said, well, you know, kids will be kids. I said, no, they won't. She said, this is every day. And if my child went up to your child and called him a really awful name because he wore glasses and had ginger hair every day at school, how would he feel at the end of the day? How would you feel when he came home crying? And she was like, oh, well, yeah, maybe it is an issue. And I said, yes, it is.
Yeah.
So ask him to stop doing that. You know, and it did stop, you know, but I think it's just sometimes I'm not saying that everybody's ignorant, but I think sometimes you have to put it in a childlike way for the adults to understand that if it happens to one of theirs, you kind of just block it off and they don't understand it.
Yeah, I think that's a big issue as well with just humans in general. Like, wrong or right is very perspective, and a lot of people get lost in their own kind of experience, their own narrative, and they believe themselves. And for me, it was weird to see when I was growing up that it was so normal for all the boys to play football and rugby, which I did try at the time. I tried a lot of things, but I never could stick with anything. And for me, being in school, there was a proper separation. Like there was a point where we got to choose what kind of sports we wanted to do, and there was an option between doing football, baseball, rugby, or you could do dance and yoga and more stuff like that. And I remember when at the time I didn't think anything of it. I chose to do dance and stuff, and then I was the only boy there, and it was the rest, all the boys were on the other side of the room. I was with all the girls, and I just saw them all like laughing, and I could tell they were talking about me. And eventually, for me, I think that's why I respect Jamie so much as a person as well, is because at the time I didn't have the confidence to stick with that. I did it for a bit, and then I was like, school's too hard to do it for, and so I did kind of conform a little bit, and I kind of wish I didn't, but everything does happen for a reason. And when I came out of school, I did exactly what I wanted to do, and I've never looked back. But I feel like it's quite weird for people like us to feel alienated for just doing what we believe is right, which is...
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying that some of the schools have dancing and things like that now. They didn't have that when Jamie was there. It was like you said, just rugby or football or something like that. It is slowly moving forward, but I do think it should be an option.
Yeah.
Not every child is sporty. Not every child wants to play rugby. Some want to do gymnastics, and I think it should be an option. And I don't think it should be alienated for that, whether it's a boy or a girl or vice versa. The same as girls sometimes want to do woodwork and metalwork, and why can't they?
Yeah.
I mean, even cookery, you all need to cook. You all go to uni or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you live on pot noodles all your life. You know, it's kind of...
Well, you can certainly try for your first year at uni, couldn't you?
I agree. I don't like pot noodles, to be fair.
But Benjy is like the world's fastest eater, so, you know...
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but yes. But there's again, growing up, it's like, oh, will this child ever eat? Will he ever sleep? Oh, my God. He was always destined to do something creative, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
But say you're such an inspiration, such an incredible role model for other mums as well. And the fact that you're a Samaritan volunteer and you work on their phones, providing safe space for people to talk about their problems. To me, that's an extraordinary thing to do, because not everyone can become a Samaritan, and that's obviously an extension of what probably you've already had to go through, I'm guessing, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, when you're lucky to have such a relationship that me and Jamie have, and even with my mum and what have you, I think that there is people out there that don't have that, and there is lonely people for whatever reason, and they don't have anybody to talk to. So I think it's kind of just me wanting them to have somewhere, and Samaritans was the best place and is an amazing place to work. Yes, it's hard sometimes, I'm not going to deny that, you know, but equally, you know, when we finish the shift, we do feel that, you know, we have everybody, and that's not beefing it up, and that's not wanting a pat on the back. That's just giving somebody who is lonely or in need or in emotional distress some comfort that they haven't ordinarily got in home. You know,
absolutely. And obviously, going back to the beginning where it all started, Jamie's documentary at 16, Jamie Drag Queen at 16, which is where it all began, allowing the cameras into, you know, to his life, your life, and, you know, potentially, you know, quite an intrusive thing, and you just embraced it. And you're, you know, I watched the documentary a couple of times, and each time I watch it, I'm just reduced to tears by, you know, what an amazing mum you are, and how tough it was. And, you know, this is a while back. Is it 10 years ago now, nearly? Yeah. So, I mean, what was it like having, you know, for someone like you just growing up, you know, I'm guessing you grew up, you know, in Yorkshire, just having a normal life, and then you've got the cameras in your face all the time, and then obviously what happened, which we'll talk about in a minute. How was that for you?
Well, we were actually from County Durham.
Apologies, sorry, my geography is shocking, sorry.
Yorkshire is because of Johnny, who's the director. He's from Sheffield, so they wanted it to be there because they didn't want the same connotation of Billy Elliot.
Oh, true, yeah.
I see, yeah.
We actually live in County Durham, but yeah, I mean, it was once we'd had the conversation, because obviously when Jamie came in and he was upset, and I was like, what's wrong with you? And it was like, oh God, all the girls are picking the prom dresses, and I've got to go in a borrowed suit. And I'd said, well, why do you have to go in a borrowed suit? Well, he said, I can't put rhinestones on it, can I? I said, well, you don't have to wear rhinestones on your suit. You can go in a dress. He said, well, can I? I said, well, if you want to go in a dress. Mm-hmm. He said, well, can I really? I said, Jamie, it's your prom.
Yeah.
You go once, do what you want to do. You know, and that was kind of the conversation. But then obviously we thought of safety. And then Jamie went and had the idea and came down and said, well, you know, about having a film crew, that he wouldn't be attacked if he had a film crew with him. So, yeah. and that kind of gave me a bit of peace of mind. And then when he'd sent the pitch off and somebody got back, and when Jenny and Laura came, they were lovely girls. And straight away they said they didn't want it to be kind of joker. They didn't want Jamie to be the laughing stock, the kind of thing. They wanted it to be serious and about real life, and about what he wanted to do and about our relationship. So straight away it was just like family. So it wasn't really we'd sit and have a coffee or we'd have a meal, and then you just forget that the cameras were there, you know. So what you saw is there's nothing edited. It's how it happened, you know. I mean, some bits of and, you know, but yeah. So, but you know, it was for Jamie. Anything's for Jamie if it makes him happy, and it's, you know, his safety in mind. It's fine.
So you're obviously when it was commissioned to be workshopped in Sheffield, I mean, that must have been such an incredible moment for you, because obviously, you know, it was this camera crew, and, you know, and it became a documentary, and it was, you know, hugely well received, and, you know, a fantastic platform. But then to sort of be the subject of a musical, and then obviously became a West End musical. I mean, how was that, sort of seeing it workshopped? I mean, that must have been a massively proud mama, pinch me moment.
Well, I don't think we realised how kind of big it was, because when we actually got the phone call from Jenny, who said, oh, you know, these people want to make a musical about you. And we're like, oh, yeah, fine. But we kind of thought community centre, worker men's club.
Yeah.
Low-key. That's a low-key. No one's going to watch.
Yeah. You know, sort of sell £2 tickets and a raffle at the end of it, you know. And then we really had a lot to do with it up until Jamie saw it, and then he got in touch with Dan, and like I say, he went down to the workshops, and it was just like, we didn't want to know anything about it other than he said, Mum, there's this song in it called My Boy, so don't wear any makeup because you'll cry. I was like, oh, okay. So it was, and then obviously the night that we went to see it, it was, oh my God. I mean, I just can't describe it. It was just phenomenal. It was, nobody gets to watch the life on rewind, and that's how it felt. And again, the emotions that I felt at the time when we were going through this stuff that you see on the stage, we were reliving them when we were watching them, and it was, by the time they dragged us on stage, I just felt as if I'd been in a washing machine. You know, I was like, oh, just couldn't speak and say anything, you know. And again, on stage, because I always have Jamie here or I have Fifi, and I don't have them both together. And it was quite surreal because I had Jamie dressed as Fifi, and then John, who looked very much like Jamie, at this side. So it was kind of like,
surreal.
Yeah. But fantastic. I think it's got to be kind of the best moment of our lives, you know, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. How did you feel about your portrayal of the character of you? Did you feel like it was, obviously it's going to be slightly different because an actor's going to take their own style and take on it, but how did you feel like it was true to your story?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't, that was one of the things that we didn't want to have any influence on them, the way they were acting to do their part, because like you and your son, you have that bond and you have that relationship. So we wanted John and Josie to have the same kind of bond. They made it without our influence in it. I mean, we talked to them afterwards, and they kind of put other little bits in that were us. Initially, it was their take on us from seeing the documentary. So
I see, yeah.
And I know when we watched it, the song "My Boy." I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah.
It just is. It has, as a mother of a son, your son. There is no more emotional song, and I cannot. It's just there's just something about. I mean, the lyrics.
Relatable, isn't it?
It's so relatable, but it. Just when you just say "my boy" now, it just still, even now, I mean, I've seen it twice, and I've heard it, obviously played loads of times, and it's just such an extraordinary song, and it just encapsulates the relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah, because that's the thing, and I think because some of the things that we said and doing, all the lyrics come from that. Like when we were talking to them, I've always said, like, Jamie is my boy, and it's like, oh, it's my boy this, and so they kind of put My Boy and made a song kind of around that, and then all of the stuff got a wasted lyric in it, because kids do, and you'll know as well that Wall in My Head it's the biggest thing to climb, and Jamie has this to climb, and so the words in that are quite poignant for that, and then the one that really gets us is My Man, My Boy at the end, because you know as well, you're not perfect, neither of us are perfect, and we'll have tiffs, and then it's kind of, he'll jump up, I'll be cooking the dinner, he'll jump up on the workbench and like, oh, I'm sorry, and then that bit's kind of, the one that really, really, really tugs this. Really
kind of gets to you. And obviously it's going to be, it's a film. I mean, again, I watched your reaction, yours and Jamie's reaction on social media as to...
Oh, I need to watch that.
The film and the trailer of the film, which is just full of A-listers, and it's just extraordinary. Again, you've got, workshopped at Sheffield, a major, massive, huge success in the West End, and now a major motion picture. I mean, again, how on earth do you get your head around that? Does that not just blow your mind again?
Absolutely don't. It is madness. I mean, sometimes we just sit here, and like Jamie says, we'll be sitting with our dressing gowns on, corn in the middle of us, and we're just sitting and saying, my God, it's in South Korea, it was going to Italy, it was going to America and Australia, and, all these thousands and millions of people who watch it, and it's just like, we were literally sat here when it all started, and it just kind of goes over, and we just start laughing because it's kind of not things you ever think that's ever going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a small village, you know, everybody knows us, and it's kind of mad. They just laugh. I mean, we did a photo shoot the other day outside the house, and, you know, the neighbours are just walking past and just laughing, "Hi, what are you doing today?" And, you know, Jamie's dressed up, and, you know, it's just, it's us, you know, they know that that's just us now, so it's kind of funny, really. Just
as you say, it's kind of your normal. What sort of upbringing did you have, Margaret?
Well, my dad died when I was 16, so, you know, it was my mum that brought us up.
So just your mum as well?
Yeah, so, you know, we've got a close bond, and we do everything together. We're normally together every day, and, you know, when Jamie was little, my mum used to run a carpet shop, and the old samples that were left off the curtains, he used to say, "Oh, Grandma, can I have this?" And in between customers coming in, we'd make him dresses and do whatever, so he'd be dancing around the counter shop and then hide underneath the gondolas before somebody came in, so it was quite funny. But yeah, just open everything. It was just, again, no taboos, and I think that's what you have to have. You have to have your safe space.
Yeah.
Somewhere and be able to talk. You know, I talk to my mum about everything, you know, and people will say, like Jamie says, "Oh, you know, you can't be talking to your mum about stuff like that." And they say the same to me, "You can't be talking to your mum about that." But we do. We just sit in the conversation about, "I can't believe you three are sitting talking about stuff like that." But it's nothing, you know, you get the truth from us, so
yeah,
there's nothing to do.
And I think, and obviously that's reflected in your relationship, because obviously you have this extraordinarily close but very open relationship with your mum. And then, you know, obviously you've had that with Jamie, and that's so what, that's three generations. Yeah.
I think it's quite clear to see as well the kind of female understanding of raising a child is, it's quite hard to get your head around. For me personally, because I'll never understand what it's like to grow a child and have a piece of you, do you know what I mean? And it's quite hard I try to understand, but as a mother, from what I've learned from you, and it's kind of like the bond it's like an unspoken bond that you probably have, like it's almost still attached in a way.
Well, as I said, I don't think you ever cut the cord. It's never ever cut.
Yeah.
Right, you know, you might literally cut it, but I don't think it's ever cut. Doesn't matter how old you get. He's always going to be my boy.
Yeah.
I mean, Benjy's obviously left to go off to pursue his dreams as a dancer, and he's second-year dance student and stuff. But it's weird because even though he's, you know, I don't know, 100 miles away, whatever, in Leicester, I still feel like he's, you know, in my heart and close. And I guess, I suppose, even when you and Jamie aren't together, he's always there, isn't he?
Connected, yeah.
Always, yeah. Just something crazy, something he'll do, or I'll, you know, left something at home, and it's, you know, turn around and, oh yeah, and then you speak to him every day anyway, so it's kind of, it's not as if they're not there, you know, they're there all the time. You know, it's the first thing, if something exciting happens, you either phone, you know, I either phone my mum or phone Jamie, so it's, you know, they're the first people you go to, so.
So has he left home yet, or are you still, you know, sort of bubbling?
It's the isolation, but he's just bought a flat in Sheffield, so he's on doing it up, and you know, because Sheffield, obviously, we've been taken over by Sheffield. We absolutely love it. People love us, and they're so embracing there. So he's actually moved there because it's in the middle. It's 2 hours from me, and it's 2 hours from London, so it's you know, kind of in the middle, wherever. So
the empty nest is hard, though, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. When he went to uni, I mean, he went to uni in London, so obviously coming back, I just couldn't speak. Me and my mum just didn't look at each other. We just didn't say anything.
No.
It was the worst experience ever.
Yeah, I kept going into Benjy's room. I was such a masochist. I kept going to his room, and he's gone. You know, I was thinking, oh, thank God it's tidy. But then then for about a week, I just couldn't go in there because I was just bereft. But then obviously he's living his best life. He's following his dreams, and that's all you want as a mum, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. It's just so quiet when he's not here, as you can imagine.
Well, you're saying he's noisy and out there. Really, what a surprise.
So quiet, so tidy.
So shy and retiring.
Yeah, he's very shrink and violent, is he?
No, not really. Or like you, really, yeah.
Pretty much.
So another thing I wanted to sort of talk about, Margaret, is obviously you're a massive, massive snaggler. You love your snag tights. Where did this, obsession with tights and the fact that, Snag is like the best brand of tights I've ever worn. I mean, they just come in every single colour and they fit so beautifully. How did you discover Snag tights?
Well, it was just one of the adverts, and I'm a bigger lady, and normally I fight with tights. It's a nightmare. And even when you get the extra large, they kind of, you're pulling them up, you put them on, you need an extra pair of knickers on, and it's like still hanging there. The worst pairs of tights ever. And I just thought, right, I've seen this advert, I'm going to order some. And I ordered them, and I was like, oh my God, these fit. You put them on, they don't move. You need to hike them up, anything, be brilliant. You can pull them up with one hand, and it was like, look at these colours, Mum, come and get some of these. So Mum got some as well, and like, I absolutely love these tights. So all our friends now, it's like, there's some new colours coming out, there's new things. So when Jamie actually said that he was doing this, it was like, this is fantastic, I love these tights. So there's every colour you can imagine in the house.
It's interesting you say about the fit though, because I'm quite curvy, and I've always had to buy extra large to accommodate my bum. But then there'd be, so they'd fit my bum, and then they'd be sort of under my bra, and then I'd be hoiking them up all day because they'd be baggy in the crotch. But then I needed them to fit my bum. And I don't know about you, but I absolutely hated wearing tights. It was just like, this is like women don't have enough crap to put up with. We've got bras and periods, and then babies, and then the menopause, and all this. Yeah, exactly. And then coupled with that, we've got to wear tights. I mean, what fresh hell is this? So you try and snag tights, you're like, oh my God, as you say, you could literally put them on with one hand, and they actually fit.
Yeah, and they don't move. That's the beauty of them. They're literally there the whole time. I can walk about for hours, and they're not any different to when I first put them on.
No, and it's quite alien, because I keep thinking, well, then I must need a tug by now. No, I don't need to tug. They're still where they were this morning. Exactly. And the colours, I mean, you like me, you love colour. I mean, isn't it lovely being able to just choose a colour to reflect your mood that day?
This is it, because as well, I think being bigger, people always think, oh, you need to wear black. Well, yeah, you can wear black, but you can also, if you don't want to think, yeah, I've got yellow, but a little bit of yellow here, it doesn't matter. You can wear green, you can wear any, and it just brightens you up, because I don't think that we have to be boring just because we're on the larger side, and that's what I love about them. The beauty of them is they come in so many different colours, and obviously different designs now, and they're great.
Yeah, and the whole obviously USP with Snag is it's inclusivity and diversity in terms of kind of the size models that they use as well, and it's just wonderful that there's is that you can just buy you can go to a website and you can see women of all shapes and sizes, and you think, oh, I'm going to buy that, and I know it's going to fit. With often the industry is kind of, you look at models and you think, well, that looks fine on her, but I don't know.
Realistic, though.
Yeah, it's not going to work on me.
Yeah.
And that is, it is great to see what they're actually going to look like on somebody our shape, which is brilliant. But they also, I have friends who are really slim and really small, and they're like, well, they fit me. And it's like, yeah, they'll fit you. They start from a size 4, go and try them.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. And I mean, you must be so proud, because Jamie's obviously going, into sort of the next direction, but a natural direction for him is, this amazing collaboration with Snag and his design, his designs and his this is creative soul that you've made. I mean, obviously it started when he was so little, but you must be so proud to see that he wears all these different hats, and yet everything he does, he's so successful at.
Yeah, I think it's because he just embraces everything. He gives everything 100%. He's got so many, like he says, it's not one particular thing you can't say. Well, he's you know, he's just an actor or he's just a storyteller or whatever. He doesn't specialise in anything. He's great at lots of things.
Yeah.
And he has a flair. You know, if it's something he believes in, then it's going to work because he believes in it and he puts 110% in. And I think that comes through in his designs or anything that he does, whether it be dance or a show or whatever he's doing. He does give it his all. So, and I think that's, you know, that's a good work ethic as well. You know, he does.
Yeah, I think also in this day and age, you have to be, you know,
versatile.
Yeah. Versatility seems to be key, and you know, and you know, if you are a creative, you generally tend to. I mean, I wear about 10 hats. I don't know how my head doesn't sort of buckle under the strain, but you know, again, for you as a performer, you know, you have to be able to act, sing, dance, and possibly play an instrument. I mean. You have to be like this nowadays. It's gone are the days when you just, you know, you went to work 9 to 5 and, you know, if that's what you want, then that's fine. But I think it makes for a very dull life.
I think it keeps it interesting as well when you wear all these different hats. And it's also getting a balance as well. I think some people in my industry, it's hard to get a balance of staying true to yourself and having your own style, but also being able to do everything at the same time. But yeah, it does keep it interesting. It's new challenges. Like about a year ago, my confidence in singing and acting, like I got thrown into doing panto at Northampton randomly. I was meant to be a dancer, and then I ended up having more lines than like the Prince and Cinderella. And it was one of them that if I kind of held back and I was like, oh, I'm not an actor, I wouldn't have done it. But it's one of them things that I don't regret at all. And now it can lead on to musicals and all of these things, and it opens up more doors, I guess.
And just,
you know, it's great that you can do that. And I think that's the beauty of Jamie. You know, anything that anybody says, he'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And try. You know, you might not always be successful at it, but, you know, the fact is you don't shy away from anything.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's sort of, let's say, just what's the worst thing that can happen? You know, say yes to everything and just, you know, embrace it. And, you know, you never know. And as you say, you know, he's worn so many hats and he will no doubt continue to wear very stylish hats, you know, for whatever he does. What's, you know, obviously you're doing your volunteering and obviously things are tough at the moment. We're in lockdown, but, you know, the movie will be coming out soon. I mean, what makes you tick, Margaret? You know, what are you looking forward to most now?
Just seeing Jamie set up, really. I mean, I'm happy with my lot here. You know, I've got a great support network of family and friends. Anything really, you know, I could say we supporting actors for Jamie, but anything, we're just there in the background for him because it's family, isn't it? That's really the crux of the book.
Yeah, family's so important, and I think people are realising that now more than ever. Actually, is that, you know, it's the little things in life that, you know, and being kind to one another, and I think, you know, what Jamie has done and the long-lasting legacy that, you know, you have done, because obviously you've been such an amazing mother, and then the way Jamie has and the message of love and support of everything he does is so far-reaching. And, you know, neither of you will probably ever know the impact that, you know, the way that you have, you know, you've brought him up and the way that he's chose to live his life has been.
It will inspire a lot of other parents as well.
Generations. He's, you know, he's set the
benchmark.
Yeah, and well, he's opened the gates for other people to, you know, to not feel afraid. And I think, you know, kudos to you for being such an incredible mother, for making this all happen. Because without you, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I think the thing is as well, a lot of parents, you know, get hung up on them and it's about us.
Yeah.
Child, you know, it's what they want to do. And even if they don't understand what they're doing, you've just got to be there to support them because it's what they choose. You know, we have lives to do what we wanted with ours, and if our parents didn't agree with that, it didn't stop us doing that. So why should we stop our kids? You know, it's
Absolutely.
I think it must be quite a big learning curve as well, becoming a parent, because obviously there's books and stuff, but it doesn't.
Books mean nothing.
Do you know what I mean? It's not actually the real experience. But I can imagine growing up in a certain generation as well. You only know what you were taught from that time, and obviously times are so different now. So raising a child in a completely different generation is probably you learn a lot from them, and then obviously that will propel on from the rest of your family tree. But I guess was it quite
kind? You have to be kind to people, and even from a young age. Or like as you teach your kids, you don't throw rubbish on the floor. You teach them that from a young age. Yeah, sweetie, but they put it in the pocket. That's the same kind of thing. If you see somebody who's different, yes, you can look, but you don't stare.
Yeah.
Ask, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Then honest with your child. If somebody's missing a limb or they've got a facial disfigurement or something, you explain why.
Yeah.
It isn't a problem and it isn't an issue. And
Absolutely.
then it's normal to them. It's the same as like you were saying earlier on about mainstream. I think there should be more people in the normal bracket like us. Not models and big hunky men with six packs, because that's not realistic. You don't see that every day. But this is what the kids are inspiring to, because this is what they're seeing in the magazines and the photoshopping and all of that. And if they saw real people in real life and the parents told them that this is what is real, you know, maybe the world would be slightly different.
Well, you're incredible, Margaret. Margaret, thank you so much for talking to me. Margaret Campbell, an inspiration for the powerhouse behind everybody's talking about. Jamie, thank you so much. Thank you for appearing on my show. I'm delighted. I'm joined by 3 generations of Campbells. I mean, it's amazing. I'm so pleased to announce that I'm speaking to May Prowse, who is Margaret Campbell's mum, Jamie's grandma. I know it's your first interview, which makes me even more honoured. So thank you so much for coming on my show. We're just going to have a little chat and talk about the extraordinary phenomena that is your grandson, Jamie, and your amazing daughter, Margaret. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So thank you very much, Essa. So we're just going to have a little chat. I mean, you're an extraordinary woman because you've had this extraordinary daughter who has had this extraordinary son. I mean, that must make you feel really, really proud.
Oh, it does. Can't tell you how proud. Yeah. Very proud. Yes.
That's so lovely. And obviously everybody's talking about Jamie. When Jamie had the cameras in when he was just 16, how did that make you feel? Because I mean, you're obviously quite a private person and this is not something your generation would have been used to. How did you cope with that? Was that a bit weird for you?
It was very weird. It was, and I just stayed in the background. Now and again they would ask me to nip in and pretend I was doing something with his outfit, and I just didn't like doing it at all. I like to be in the background. That's where I always am, in the background.
Well, there's only room for one diva, isn't there?
She's a bit of a diva herself, actually. You're retiring now, but
you should have seen her with them snag tights on doing the advert.
I'm loving your snag tights. So what we've all got in common is the fact we're all obsessed with snag tights. So look at us all with our snag tights on. I told you to wear a pair. I'll get you in touch, yes. Yeah. So I've got a green pair, Jamie's got a lovely red pair, you've got blue, and then Margaret has got some lovely yellow ones. So look, all the colours of the rainbow. So it's so lovely. So you've been a snaggler for a long time. What got you into the tights?
It was Margaret, actually, and she said she'd found these snag tights. She says, "Mum, I bought you a pair." It's tights. I went into trousers, mostly. I wear trousers because I could never, ever find tights that fit me. And I just gave up on them. If I had to wear a dress or a skirt, as you say, you're pulling and you're tugging and you're wearing panty girls or something on top.
Bridget Jones knickers and Spanx and all that crap. Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to revert to trousers and I can just wear a pair of socks. And then Margaret said, I found these Snag Tights. She says, I bought you a pair, you tried them. I wish they'd been out years ago. Oh. Absolutely, yes, they are fabulous. They are.
They really are. They really are, aren't they? Because they, you know, as we were saying earlier, Margaret and I was saying earlier that, you know, tights have got, you know, they've been so uncomfortable for so long, and if you're not a standard shape, then you know, you spend all day, you know, you're pulling them up, and then you've got Nora Batties around your ankles, and it's a giant pain in the arse, isn't it? And then you put these on, and then they stay, and they stay where they're supposed to. And it's like, this is amazing, and the colours are just to die for, aren't they?
Yeah, yes, you put them on, and that's it. You just forget about them. They're just so comfortable. They're like a second skin.
I don't know about you, but I actually don't want to take them off in the evenings because I'm like, they're so pretty and so beautiful, but they're so comfy because normally when you get home, it's like, you know, bra off, tights off, but, you know.
Yeah, they are. They're very, very comfortable.
What's your favourite colour?
I like all the bright colours, but I don't feel I can wear yellow like Margaret, and this I could wear, you know, the darker colours.
Yeah.
The more not the way out ones, but when Jamie's designs come out, I'm going to wear those with pride, the sparkly ones.
I know, sparkly. That's so exciting. I mean, so you must take a massive amount of credit for Jamie's creativity because he's grown up around these two incredibly strong, powerful, encouraging women. But, you know, you obviously retired. You used to run a carpet and curtain business, and in between customers, you used to make Jamie dresses out of old curtain samples. So, you know, you're still creating these fabulous outfits. So you must be A, very proud, and B, think, gosh, I've played a major part in the way that everything has turned out.
Well, no, I don't think I have really. No.
We couldn't do it without you.
I've worked in clothing factories, you know, from leaving school, and it's a thing I enjoy. And of course, it challenges us sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. He just sits down with a piece of paper and a pencil, and he'll draw this design, and there you are, and he hands it over, and we try to make the outfit as clear as we can with doing it. So, yeah. And it's a thing we enjoy. It gets a bit...
if he only gives us 2 days.
Sometimes if he only gives us 2 days to do an outfit for an important function, that's very, very stressful. But if plenty of time, no, we do enjoy it, yes.
It's lovely, though, that you're still able to kind of to carry on being able to do that as well now through Jamie, and to see it through his eyes, fresh pair of eyes, and then sort of see a modern take on the way that the clothes are designed now. The whole design process is fascinating. That must be really interesting for you as someone who, you know, has been exposed to this your whole life.
Yes, very interesting, very nice. And when I see him in the finished creations, and when he's all dressed up, and he looks absolutely stunning, I get rather jealous, actually.
And he's got a pair of legs to die for. I mean, honestly, I'm very jealous. But I mean,
got them from them too.
Oh, you don't think so?
Oh wow.
But I mean, I know you wanted to sort of talk about the grandmother relationship. I mean, that's such an amazing relationship that you have. I mean, that's something I think, you know, that I think we underestimate the importance of the grandmother figure in our lives, and certainly in modern day life. I mean, I think, you know,
for me personally, I'm close with my grandma, but it's not. You guys seem a lot closer. Like we've not really had that sort of relationship, and it's quite hard for anyone to understand as well. Like obviously, I can understand how my mum has a relationship with me, but how does your relationship with Jamie compare? Well, actually, no, I can't really say compare, but throughout the generation, do you feel like a sort of like connectedness to Jamie still?
Oh yes. Yeah, certainly. It's just so easy. We don't have to try. We're just three of
just friends. Yeah. No, it's so good. You guys can just be so open and talk about anything.
Oh, we can, yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's also credit to you, though, May.
You should air some of them. That's a whole different story. And there's a word, Margaret explains to me what it is. I go, oh, all right, at least I know what it is now. All these modern words, you know.
Yeah.
But I think huge credit to you, because, as I say, you've instilled this warmth and this openness and this closeness that you've got with Margaret, and then Margaret in turn has got that with Jamie, and that's just so lovely and such a wonderful example of how families should be, whether you choose to have, you know, whether you've got two parents or just one. And, you know, what an extraordinary story. I mean, I think Jamie's story is extraordinary in itself, and we all know how that's panned out. So, but I think the three of you together, that's such a lovely story, and I think there's a story here. I really do. Three incredible people whose lives are inextricably linked and wouldn't be what they are without one another. Don't you think there's a story here, maybe, May?
The next one. The next one, we'll get you in that one.
In the camera, Mum. Oh, yeah, okay.
But there's always room for 2 more films as well. There could be a prequel or something, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then just keep going.
Yeah, a prequel, absolutely. Where did it all start? Exactly. So, I mean, obviously, everybody's talking about Jamie, this phenomenon that started in Sheffield and West End, and now a major motion picture coming out. I mean, again, for you, that must be extraordinary. You know, you're going to be seeing your daughter and your grandson on the big screen. I mean, it's mind-blowing enough seeing them on stage, but on the big screen, that must be incredible. And as someone, you know, when you were little and you used to go to films, I bet you could never have dreamed that this would be where you'd be now.
No, I still can't believe it. It's unbelievable how it's just, as they said, we'll sit and we'll talk and how did it happen? So, you know, one minute we're just living our own lives and getting on with it, and then the next thing they taking me to shows and birthdays and you know all this exciting life premieres, and it's absolutely amazing. It's been a whirlwind.
Stars even that my mum's met.
I've met so many stars and so many amazing people, and it's absolutely been a whirlwind. I just can't believe it's all happening because of really.
What's the the most person you've been most like starstruck by, or have you met
all of them?
All of them.
Yes, I've met some absolutely lovely people.
Graham Norton.
And, Graham Norton, yes, he was wonderful. Loved Graham Norton.
Amazing, yeah.
Many people, you know, and you think, you see them on the television or in a film, and you think that you don't know what you think.
Yeah.
And they're just like you and I, you know.
People.
Yes, I don't know what you expect when you see them on the TV, etc., but... You know, they're just
so approachable, down to earth, so approachable and lovely.
They are.
It's so important to remember as well. And I feel like a lot of people look at celebrities like they're these all-seeing gods and stuff, and it's not really fair to put them in that, because it doesn't allow for them to make mistakes, to be human, because we're so quick to jump at them when they do the tiniest little thing. But everyone's human, and I guess when you met, for example, someone like Graham Norton, you're just like, well, I've seen him do all these things, but he's just a normal guy, and
he just has an extraordinary job.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Some really amazing people I've met.
No, I don't know about you, but I found the bigger the star, the less the ego, because they seem to have less to prove. Would you say that's true, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I've met a few people with egos, but like, everybody is like, yeah, nice. Us as well, like, I mean, not comparing us to Graham Norton or anything like that, but like, but people come up to us and they're like, oh, you know what, you're just so normal, it's so nice. And they're like, well, what do you expect? This thing happened, and yeah.
But I do think, as some people, they have said that, you know, obviously they deal with stars all the time, and not everybody is as nice. Some of them are quite demanding and say a bit, you know. But I would never be like that. I mean, why? That's not who we are anyway. And it makes you more approachable, more accessible to people, and you know, if you are just who you are, you know. And I think the stars that we've met certainly are nice people, you know, and that's why they are stars, because they are nice people. And the public like them to be there. And I get what you're saying, that sometimes when the people pick on them for doing the silliest little thing, but you know, that's I think sometimes it's just a bit of jealousy and
I mean, I think we're very guilty in this country. I'm sure, Jamie, you'll agree, is you know, the whole rise of kind of celebrity culture is, you know, we're very quick to build people up and go, oh my God, aren't they doing an amazing job? But as Benjy said, if you do something wrong, you just cut down to size, and that's a tall poppy syndrome. And it's a not, especially now that we're living in this, you know, really difficult, challenging times. Now more than ever, we should be embracing one another, not literally, obviously, unfortunately, but you know, metaphorically speaking, being kind to one another and just supporting one another more. And I think the extraordinary bond that you have as a family, that's just so lovely to see. And I guess, you know, family units, hopefully out of this horrendous situation, family units have just become stronger and tighter, you know.
So yes, I really do hope so.
I think because that's half of it. We think now that we've noticed a lot of people are spending more time. They're actually having meals together. They're actually doing things together. They're putting their phone a lot and having a conversation, which I think conversations are a lot, and we do tend to talk an awful lot.
We do.
You know, maybe too much sometimes. But, you know.
I suppose that's a little bit of a positive that's come out of this situation. Like, everyone's kind of in it together. So, I mean, some people take things in different ways, but if you look at the situation as, I need to be grateful for what I do have and the people who are there for me, and not just that are there for me because it's convenient, but are there for me all the time. And it makes you really appreciate that. Like, even Jamie, I'm sure when you're performing, or if you get an opportunity to perform in this time, you're like, I need to not only give it 110%, I need to give it 1,000,000% now, because this might be the last time I get to perform, because we don't know what's going to happen. And I've definitely felt that connection when, after the first lockdown, when I went back to my performing arts college, every single movement that I did it like it was my last movement, because it makes it more special. And I think that's why I'm so open to doing absolutely anything now in performing, is because what have I got to lose? Like, there's a lot of people who would be grateful for the opportunities me or you have, so I might as well make the most of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's made me a lot more appreciative as well. I mean, I always do try to be appreciative of everything, but now it really does hit home. Everything happens, you're like, really take it and enjoy it. So I think sometimes I have a problem of overthinking things and overanalyzing things and picking things apart, and I think now I'm just trying to take things as they are and just enjoy the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, I just think I think also, like, talking to you, Jamie, I mean, I must admit, I was quite nervous because I'm such a big fan, and, you know, I didn't want to fangirl too much, but, you know, I'm in awe of everything that you've achieved, and you are such an incredible inspiration on so many levels. So, but it's just, you know, lovely to just kind of meet you and meet your amazing mum and your amazing grandmother, and just see that you are, you know, you have an extraordinary talent and you've spread so much joy, but you're just so normal and so ordinary and humble. And I think humility is just, it's the greatest gift. Honestly, you're just incredible. Honestly, I'm so in awe of you as a family, you know.
No, I do try to stay grounded through it all. I mean, even before all of this, I do go off on Jamie land and like live in these like random fantasies and stuff. But yeah, I am trying to stay grounded. But I mean, I can honestly, like we were talking earlier about celebrities and stuff, but like I can honestly see how like a lot of celebrities do have egos and stuff, like people like Justin Bieber and stuff like that. I can see how these people who do get all of this attention can be like that, because I mean, it is easy to get lost in things. And when you've constantly got people giving you praise and stuff, like, I do find it like hard to accept. But I'm just, and just take it, and I'm just glad that people get joy.
I think your affirmation has to come from yourself, not from anybody else, because that means more. Then I'm not getting praise from other people, doesn't, but, you know, I think that's when you get lost, when you start believing what everybody's saying constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole kind of culture, I think it's also, you know, as Jamie quite rightly said, it's, you know, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are yes men, sycophants going, oh my God, you're amazing, and indulging, you know, behaviour that might not be necessarily appropriate, that's when you're going to lose sight. But because you guys are such a tight unit, that's never going to happen, because, you know, you've got the
honest opinions from all sides as well, like, and I completely understand what you're saying as well, Jamie. There's like, I feel like there's a lot of people who like the idea of us as people, but not actually our true selves. And I've kind of noticed that a little bit from moving out and going to dance college and stuff. It's, you find a lot of people who they like you for what they think you are, if that makes sense, for your talent in a sense, but realistically, the way they act around you it's not about your true self, if that makes sense. And I'm sure that it's been good to understand. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it made just such an inspirational story, as I say, and you know, 3 generations of you together. I mean, I say I do feel like I've had this massive, like this exclusive coup that to get, you know, 3 of you in one room. It's you know, and May, I'm so grateful for you, you know, taking the time to talk to me. And I know it's been a bit scary your first time on camera, but you've done. You'll be like next time, like, yo, is this my best angle? You'll get used to it.
What colours am I wearing now? Yeah. I'm all right. I'm a pro. I can do it all the time now. I'm all right. It's always the hardest.
Yeah. All right, I've got my best to help me out.
But thank you so much, and I'm, you know, obviously going to continue to watch and see Jamie's, you know, trajectory just continue to rise, and you know, his design career is just going to flourish, but because he is backed by 2 phenomenal women. So it's exciting times ahead. I know difficult, but exciting, because you've got one another, you know, you've got each other, and it's an amazing story of, you know, very humble beginnings, 2 extraordinary women who supported an extraordinary boy, who have the dream and the tenacity to just go out on a limb and do something so different that is spanned and, you know, say musical and a movie, and inspired so many people in so many different diverse and cultural ways as well. So, you know, it's
now like South Korea.
Can't wait to see it.
So
Can't wait to see the film.
No, absolutely can't wait to see the film. I can't wait to see Jamie's designs, and I can't wait to see you both modelling his designs. I'm so looking forward to that. So thank you, Snag Tights, for bringing us all together. I mean, who would have thought it, eh?
Yes, exactly.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Us snagglers, you know. So thank you so much for appearing on the Nancy Stevens Show. I've been talking to anyone who's anybody in the arts and entertainment world. Jamie Campbell, as I say, who's the inspiration behind everybody's talking about Jamie. Margaret Campbell, his extraordinary mother, who is obviously portrayed as Margaret New in the film and obviously the stage musical, and obviously May, who's, you know, the grandmother, and, you know, where it all began. An amazing story. Say 3 generations of you. Thank you so much. You can catch my show on all major platforms, and we can obviously follow you on the socials, Jamie. Again, do you want to just share your socials with us?
It's at Jamie and Fifi.
Brilliant. And all at Snag Tights / Jamie.
Oh yeah, www.snag. Oh, did he use that anymore? Cut that. snagtights.com/Jamie.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, May, for being such wonderful guests and spending time, on my podcast. And as I say, I talk to anybody who's anybody in the arts and entertainment world, and you three have exceeded expectations. So thank you so much. It really has been a pleasure.
It's been lovely meeting you as well.
And all the best with you. Yeah. I'm sure we'll see you on stage soon.
Oh, I hope so, yes. Rising star.
Yeah.
Look, do you know what would be so amazing is if he ends up and everybody's talking about Jamie? I mean, how incredible would that be?
Who knows?
Definitely.
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. And everybody is still talking about Jamie, and we will be talking about Jamie for a long time. So thank you all so much. You're amazing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.